a strange discovery in a recent NASA photo has some saying these visitors haven't just been observing Earth. Check out what we found on our next-door neighbor, Mars.
Scientists are always eager to learn more about space and the universe to understand it better. And as such, they tirelessly seek answers to age-old questions. To do this, they've launched various machines and satellites into space to get a clearer picture of what's going on around us. Recently, one of these satellites unexpectedly stopped working after possibly encountering signs of life from beyond Earth. But what exactly did this satellite come in contact with? And why was NASA so quick to turn off the live stream? Join us as we investigate why NASA immediately shut down the live feed after a terrifying object showed up at the space station. NASA's disturbing space video. NASA is currently facing some backlash from space enthusiasts and scientists as they work to address a questionable space video that has stirred up some UFO believers. The International Space Station, which has been orbiting Earth for years, regularly sends back images and videos of its discoveries, captivating the attention of newer generations who see it as a crucial part of scientific exploration. However, a recent unusual incident during a live feed from the ISS has left conspiracy theorists and science enthusiasts amazed. During the feed, which commonly provides a view of Earth from the astronaut's opinion, viewers noticed something unusual. For a brief moment, the feed captured a faint light descending towards Earth, only to suddenly stop and drift in place. Shortly after, the video feed was cut off. This unexpected turn of events has led some to believe that NASA may be hiding something. The sudden interruption in the feed has aroused interest and raised questions about what exactly was captured on camera. Some strategy theorists have jumped to the conclusion that NASA is deliberately hiding information. Some people suggested that NASA was trying to hide something embarrassing. They believed that NASA didn't want anyone to see its mistakes or problems. This idea was mostly supported by scheme theorists, who often think that powerful organizations are hiding the truth from the public. Others thought that the mysterious object might be the empty Chinese space station called Tiangong-1. This station had been orbiting Earth for a while before falling back to Earth. But some had a scarier idea. What if it was a meteor? This uncertainty made the situation even more interesting. What made things more mysterious was that NASA stopped showing the video footage just as the object was about to enter Earth's outer atmosphere. If the video had continued and people saw what happened when the object entered the atmosphere, maybe there wouldn't be so much debate about what it was. But because they didn't get to see what happened next, people started questioning NASA's intentions. NASA didn't ignore the criticism. They responded by saying that the object seen in the footage wasn't a UFO, but possibly just a piece of space debris. They also commented on the strange light seen in the video. But despite their explanation, people still had doubts and continued to criticize NASA. They told them that the strange thing they saw in the video could have been caused by various factors. It might have been a flash on the camera lens, energy from space affecting the sensors in the Advanced Earth Observation System, or it could have been something like a satellite, a meteor, or even debris floating around in space. The person speaking for NASA, who shared this information, emphasized strongly that they have never detected any signs of alien spacecraft near or far from Earth. So, they assured them that whatever they saw was not something from outer space. NASA wants people to stay calm and not worry because they have a good explanation for why the video feed was cut off. According to Daniel Hewitt, a spokesperson for NASA, the footage came from their experiment on the International Space Station. This experiment involves high-definition cameras fixed outside the ISS, pointing toward Earth. These cameras are kept safe inside a sealed and temperature-controlled unit. So, while it might have seemed mysterious, there's a straightforward reason behind the interruption in the video feed. The experiment revolves around automatic controls that switch between different cameras as the space station moves out of range of the tracking and data relay satellites. These satellites are crucial for sending and receiving video, voice, and telemetry from the station. Whenever there's a loss of signal, the video feed switches to a higher bandwidth. If there's no signal, the cameras display a blue screen or a preset video slate. According to NASA's explanation, the interruption in the live feed was due to a loss of signal, leading to the display of a blue screen by the cameras. However, there are disagreeing opinions among space enthusiasts, cooperation theorists, and ethologists. They argue that what the International Space Station captured wasn't just a loss of signal, but rather an unidentified flying object. According to them, this UFO wasn't merely present, it was actively observing Earth. This difference prompts us to question the existence and nature of UFOs further. And just when we thought UFOs were still largely confined to outer space, one appeared in the most unexpected of places: horrifying UFOs at CERN's Large Hadron Collider. Unidentified flying objects, commonly referred to as UFOs, have sparked serious debates among scientists of various backgrounds for many years. While some doubters and analysts of science dismiss UFO sightings as mere tricks or falsehoods, an increasing number of scientists have begun to present evidence suggesting that these sightings might be genuine. This is particularly noticeable in instances related to CERN's Large Hadron Collider, situated in Geneva, Switzerland, which is the largest and fastest particle accelerator in the world. While those less interested in the topic might suggest that these UFO sightings are simply tricks of the mind, such as visions or optical illusions, there are urging arguments made by others indicating that some encounters are indeed real and cannot be easily dismissed. As their awareness of advanced technology and the universe continues to evolve, they must approach these phenomena with objectivity. Numerous accounts and personal proof exist about UFO sightings near the Large Hadron Collider, leading to further inquiries into the nature and origin of these unidentified objects. Not only has the Large Hadron Collider expanded their understanding of the universe, but it has also combined interest among UFO enthusiasts and science fans alike. Some assume that certain experiments conducted at the LHC may have drawn the attention of extraterrestrial beings. There have been reported sightings of unidentified flying objects near the LHC, supported by both visual evidence and eyewitness accounts. Despite these claims, doubters in the fields of science and space persist in their efforts to discredit any ideas of extraterrestrial activity. They often argue that UFOs could easily be mistaken for traditional aircraft. However, it's essential to pause and consider the setting of the LHC itself. Situated in a relatively private area, the chances of misidentifying these aerial phenomena as ordinary aircraft are quite reduced. A noteworthy incident involves Dr. Castillo, a physicist at CERN, who once observed an unusual series of events above the LHC. He told an interesting story about sighting a strange object in the sky. It was like nothing he'd ever seen before, a UFO with a glowing light that pulsed rhythmically. This mysterious craft seemed to float above the accelerator, moving in ways that defied the laws of nature. His tale, along with many others, hints at something truly intriguing happening above the Large Hadron Collider. Some doubters might scoff at the idea of UFOs, but maybe they shouldn't be so quick to dismiss it. Even NASA's International Space Station has reported sightings of unidentified flying objects. It's a sign that the scientific community is starting to take these stories seriously, adopting a more open-minded approach to the idea of UFOs. Scientists are becoming increasingly interested in unraveling the mysteries surrounding these unidentified objects. They recognize that studying UFOs could lead to discoveries and advancements in our understanding of the universe. But a possible UFO sighting was not the only reason NASA suddenly cut off the live stream. Apparently, there was a more terrifying object that came within close range of the satellite's lenses. NASA's latest groundbreaking discovery. Scientists and space explorers are beginning to challenge what we know about planets, both those within our solar system and those beyond, known as exoplanets. These distant worlds, orbiting stars far away, are a fascinating frontier for discovery. The latest tools in space exploration, like those equipped on NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, aren't just searching for these remote planets. They're delving deeper to uncover their secrets, expanding our knowledge of them. One key aspect scientists are eager to understand is the makeup of exoplanet atmospheres. By analyzing what gases surround these distant worlds, researchers hope to find hints about whether life could exist there. What NASA has recently uncovered is nothing short of remarkable, a new exoplanet that defies expectations. This newfound exoplanet, dubbed a super-Earth, is grabbing attention for good reason. It's like stumbling upon a whole new world, ripe for exploration. What's interesting is the timing of this discovery. Just as our sun is crucial for life on Earth, this super-Earth orbits a different kind of star, a red dwarf, smaller and cooler than our Sun. Red dwarfs are known to harbor small rocky planets, making them prime candidates in the search for habitable worlds. These planets orbit much nearer to their stars compared to planets orbiting stars like our Sun. However, because red dwarfs are smaller and cooler, their planets can huddle closer and still be safely within the habitable zone of the stars. The closer orbits also mean that these planets pass in front of their stars more frequently when observed from our space telescopes. A newly discovered planet, named TOI 175b, has now been identified as part of this list of planets within the habitable zone. This designation makes it a prime candidate for closer examination, possibly even by the Webb Space Telescope, to search for signs of an atmosphere. The extent of this exploration will largely hinge upon various characteristics of the planet, such as its mass, and whether it can be categorized as a water world, which would greatly influence the composition of its atmosphere. If there's a planet smaller and less dense than ours, its atmosphere might be easier to spot. Imagine a world that's lighter and less packed, its air hugging closer to the ground. Now, if we confirm there's another planet like Earth in that system, it would be the tiniest one we've found that could support life. This discovery, made by TESS, surprised everyone. TESS was designed to find planets in the Goldilocks zone, where conditions are just right for life. Finding an Earth-sized planet there was beyond what we hoped for. For years, people have wondered if life exists beyond our planet. Well, NASA has been on a mission to find out, and the recent news from Mars might just change everything. Shocking Martian secrets revealed. NASA recently dispatched a robotic explorer named the Curiosity rover to investigate the dusty terrain of Mars. Since its touchdown, this intrepid rover has tirelessly traversed the Martian landscape. During its journey, it reached a significant milestone, the beginning of an ancient riverbed. Here, amidst the rust-colored soil, it stumbled upon peculiar, flaky rocks reminiscent of those found in earthly streams and rivers. As the Curiosity rover continued its remarkable expedition, it approached the Maria Gordon Notch. Along the way, it paused to capture its customary selfie, a charming habit that has endeared it to Earthlings. Once past this point, the rover captured what can only be described as a masterpiece, a stunning mosaic image showcasing the jagged overhangs, veins of precious minerals, and mysterious features dotting the Martian landscape. This discovery marks another victory in their ongoing exploration of the Red Planet, offering tempting glimpses into its geological history and raising more questions about the possibility of past water flow and potential signs of life. In this vast expanse, the rover stumbled upon a significant vein, seemingly unyielding against the forces of erosion. Despite the relentless erosion by water or wind over the years, the steadfast nature of this vein stands as a testament to its resilience. The gradual erosion of the surrounding rocks further strengthens the argument for the presence of water on Mars in bygone eras. It's intriguing to note peculiar nodules perched atop the outcrop. Their exclusive presence at the peak prompts a curious inquiry. Why are they confined to this specific location? Could it be that this area once played host to a flowing river? Perhaps these nodules succumbed to the powerful currents, unable to withstand their force. Yet this notion remains shrouded in uncertainty, awaiting further exploration. The landscape depicted by Greenhoff presents yet another secret. Its sloping terrain contrasts sharply with the flat layers of distant outcrops. This contrast ignites speculation. Was Greenhoff once a water-laden slope? Could the ancient water has left its mark, however faint, in this very place? These questions beckon for deeper investigation into the mysteries of Mars' past. Curiosity rover's decade of discovery. It's truly incredible how the Curiosity rover continues to uncover remarkable findings, even a decade into its exploration of Mars. Recently, it stumbled upon a collection of rocks nestled in the foothills of a towering Martian mountain. These rocks, with their rippled appearance akin to the sand at the bottom of a lake, hint at a fascinating history. It's plausible to imagine that they formed ages ago, when waves gently stirred up sediments in an ancient Martian lake, imprinting their texture into the rock over time. But this isn't the first clue Curiosity has unearthed about the presence of water on Mars. Just days after landing on the Red Planet, the rover investigated a site where its engines had blasted the surface during descent. This area, affectionately dubbed Ghoul-born Scour, revealed sedimentary rocks believed to have been deposited by flowing water in the distant past. They lay hidden beneath layers of dust until a fortuitous dust storm swept them into view. The robber carefully examined the bottom of the main mission mount, noticing its sharp edges formed by layers. Scientists had guessed that these layers might hold clues about water that flowed on Mars long ago. As the rover continued its journey, it stumbled upon a site featuring a circular bedrock encircled by small stones. Scientists speculate that these rounded rocks might have been left behind by water that once flowed on ancient Mars. Over the years of Curiosity's exploration on the Martian surface, it has gathered a wealth of evidence supporting the presence of water in the planet's past. The discovery of abundant water resembling Earth's freshwater suggests a promising environment for potential extraterrestrial exploration. In line with this thrilling prospect, a Stargazer, upon joining NASA, accomplished something remarkable: the shocking resurgence of NASA's forgotten satellite. A beginner Stargazer did something very impressive soon after joining NASA. He found something important that NASA had lost track of for over 12 years. This thing he found was called NASA's Imager for Magnetopause to Aurora Global Exploration. It was believed to have stopped working because of some problems with its system, but surprisingly, it was still sending out signals. This discovery, which he shared in a blog post, suggests that NASA might be able to bring back this mission. This mission used to give amazing views of Earth's magnetosphere, something that hadn't been seen before. The Stargazer's name is Scott Tilley. When he's not busy with his regular job, he likes to listen to radio signals from secret satellites. On this particular day, he was trying to find evidence of a secret US satellite called Zuma. People thought it had stopped working after it was launched, but instead of finding Zuma, Tilley heard a signal from a satellite with a label that seemed to be from many years ago, marked as 2000 EOZ 1-2017A. He recognized this label as belonging to NASA's Image satellite, launched way back in 2000, a satellite that everyone had forgotten about. In December of 2005, when the $150 million mission resurfaced on the airwaves, it seemed like a positive development. However, there was a crucial task at hand. Someone needed to pay attention to its message. Once Tilley shared the discovery, the news spread rapidly, akin to the wildfire that often sweeps through California, catching the attention of former members of the Image science team. Moreover, there were hints of additional data embedded within the signal, suggesting that some of the satellite's instruments might still be operational. This revelation sparked immediate action. Project scientists dedicated days to rummaging through old software and records. NASA geared up to use its deep space radio antennas to establish contact with the satellite. Yet, NASA wasn't alone in its interest. The Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland, and researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, also eyed the satellite with enthusiasm. However, resurrecting something that had been lost for years posed its own set of challenges. The team found themselves grappling with questions about why the spacecraft's rotation rate had slowed, potentially complicating communication efforts. The team eagerly anticipated a meaningful exchange of information between the imaging satellite and the ground before its unfortunate malfunction. Up until that point, the imaging satellite had been hailed as a successful mission, with its instrument, the Halan satellite, acting as a powerful telescope, offering a comprehensive view of charged particles captured in Earth's magnetic field. However, just before Christmas in 2005, the imaging satellite experienced signal loss during its extended mission. Before this setback, NASA celebrated the flawless operation of the mission. NASA later attributed the system failure to a malfunction in the controller responsible for providing power to the satellite's transponder. Despite this setback, there remained hope that the imaging satellite could reset itself during periods when Earth obscured its solar panels for extended durations, leading to battery drainage. Such eclipses had occurred last year and 5 years ago, possibly offering a chance for the satellite's revival. If the imaging satellite were to be revived, Its orbit would be strategically positioned to monitor Earth's northern auroral zone. The team found the prospect of the spacecraft's return exhilarating, reminiscent of the mission's motto, "The real voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes." As NASA continues to uncover discoveries, it eagerly shares them with Earth through the International Space Station. The ISS and the unexplained outer space discoveries. The International Space Station is like a giant floating laboratory in space. It's put together and looked after by a team of 5 space agencies: NASA, Roscosmos, JAXA, ESA, and CSA. These agencies come from 5 different countries: the United States, Russia, Japan, Europe, and Canada. The ISS is the biggest space station ever made, and its main job is to do experiments in a place where there's no gravity, or very little gravity. At first, people planned for the ISS to be a place where scientists could study space and do different kinds of work, like making things and looking at the stars. They also wanted it to be a hub for traveling to other places in space, like the Moon, Mars, and asteroids. But not everything they hoped for happened. However, over time, the ISS has taken on other important roles, like helping with business, politics, and education. Nowadays, the ISS is like a hub for science experiments. It's got all the things scientists need, like power, data, cooling systems, and people to help out. Tiny, unmanned spacecraft can serve as platforms for experiments, especially those exploring zero gravity and exposure to space. However, space stations offer a more prolonged setting where studies can persist for decades. With frequent access by human researchers, the International Space Station streamlines experiments by allowing multiple groups to share launches and crew time. Research spans various disciplines, from astrobiology to astronomy, physical sciences to material science, space weather to meteorology, and human research, including space medicine and life sciences. Earth-based scientists have prompt access to data and can propose adjustments to experiments if needed, with the possibility of follow-up experiments. Regularly scheduled launches of resupply crafts make it relatively simple to send new equipment to the ISS. Crews undertake expeditions lasting several months, providing around 160 person-hours of labor per week with a team of 6. However, a significant portion of crew time is devoted to station maintenance. Among the notable experiments on the ISS is the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer, designed to detect dark matter and address fundamental questions about our universe. NASA considers the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer as crucial as the Hubble Space Telescope, currently stationed at the International Space Station. This is because the AMS has specific power and bandwidth requirements that would have made it difficult to accommodate a separate satellite. On April 3, 2013, scientists made a significant report regarding the ISS. They suggested that the ISS might have detected traces of dark matter. According to these scientists, initial findings from the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer, a device designed to study cosmic rays, revealed an unexpected abundance of high-energy positrons in cosmic rays bound for Earth. Outer space is an unforgiving environment for life. The presence of unprotected life in space is met with intense radiation, primarily from protons and other charged particles from sources like the solar wind and cosmic rays. Space also presents challenges like high vacuum, extreme temperatures, and microgravity. Despite these harsh conditions, certain resilient life forms, such as extremophiles and tardigrades, can survive in a dormant state through desiccation. Although the International Space Station has been around for a while, many people still find NASA and its mission mysterious. And now, NASA is planning something that's even more ambitious, as efforts are already in top gear to put the first woman on the moon later this year. NASA's ambitious quest and financial realities. There's a fascinating initiative known as Artemis, aiming to send the first woman and person of color to the moon. NASA plans to achieve this milestone by either late 2024 or early 2025 during the Artemis 3 mission. This ambitious goal is a key focus in a report by the Office of the Inspector General, shedding light on the significant expenses associated with operating the Artemis space launch system and the Orion crew capsule. The costs involved in each launch from Artemis 1 to Artemis 4 are staggering, estimated at a whopping $4.2 billion per launch. Moreover, this amount doesn't even include the $42 billion spent to develop and prepare these systems for launch. With such immense costs and the tight timeline of Artemis, the OIG warns that sustaining the program presents a formidable challenge to NASA's future exploration endeavors. Nevertheless, NASA is determined to press ahead with the project and has taken some promising steps toward addressing these concerns. Progress has been made, such as gathering valuable data from the successful launch of the SLS rockets and the flight of the Orion capsule during the Artemis 1 mission, which took place on November 14, 2022. Furthermore, the Office of Inspector General also highlights other noteworthy aspects. They commend NASA's concerted efforts to trim expenses associated with lunar missions following Artemis 4. Notably, NASA has made strides in the development of crucial systems such as spacesuits, vital for mankind's imminent return to the moon after half a century. However, amid these advancements, NASA grapples with technical challenges, as underscored by the OIG. Instances like the unforeseen erosion of Orion's heat shield during the Artemis 1 flight, and the unanticipated damage to the space launch system and ground infrastructure during launches demand NASA's immediate attention. Moreover, with Congress advocating for more SLS and Orion launches, NASA faces the imperative to identify and implement cost-saving measures to ensure the financial sustainability of its flagship human exploration endeavors. Turning our focus to the International Space Station, which has served as a vital outpost in low Earth orbit for over 2 decades, a significant concern looms large. Reports circulating about the retirement of the ISS in the early 2030s present a monumental shift for NASA and other space agencies. This potential transition underscores the need for strategic planning and collaboration to navigate this transformative phase in space exploration. For many years, the International Space Station has been a hub of groundbreaking scientific research carried out in a unique environment devoid of gravity. This research has been pivotal in advancing our knowledge of how the human body responds to space conditions, which holds immense importance for future space missions. NASA has dedicated a significant portion of its budget to the ISS, which is slated for decommissioning in 2030 and subsequent deorbiting in 2031. Looking ahead, NASA aims to transition towards utilizing commercial space stations to maintain a human presence in space at altitudes ranging from 100 to 600 miles above Earth. However, the shift from the ISS to commercial space stations presents a challenge. There needs to be a smooth transition period. To address this, NASA plans to have a new low Earth orbit site operational by 2028, ensuring a 2-year overlap with the ISS. Maintaining a human presence in space comes with substantial costs, and NASA must manage its finances effectively to avoid accruing significant debt. Collaboration with private companies like SpaceX will be key to achieving this goal. Additionally, NASA has solidified agreements with the Russian space agency Roscosmos, facilitating the exchange of astronauts between nation spacecraft. This collaboration eases the burden and fosters smoother operations in space exploration endeavors. What are your thoughts on NASA's explanations and discoveries? Share your opinions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.